Alright, this little video is based off the little conference chat we had last night. Uh, I was trying to record it then, but for some reason, the app that I'm using is not retaining the videos. So I'll just go over some of the basics of what we talked about last night. So, the upcoming training week I'm planning on having from November 1st through the 7th. Um, it part of it is that time because of the elections, and a lot of people are saying that they suspect martial law or mass rioting, and an increase in danger for everybody, just based on the fact that um, the threats that the left side and the right side both have made towards each other, and one's going to win. You know, we all want a third party to win, somebody more intelligent than the two primaries that are running right now, but most likely it's going to be one party or the other, and they've both called for violence if the other party wins. So it makes being in cities, especially bigger cities, more dangerous. BLM, Antifa, they have shouted out that they'll start burning even the smaller cities and homes. Um, of the right side, areas where there's more people voting for Trump than their own side. So it's a shit show. It's a powder keg waiting for the spark. And unfortunately, they both said the spark they need to do it is the other side winning. So here you are, you got this side saying if this side wins, we're going to become violent, and this side saying the same damn thing, and we're all caught right here in the middle. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't. My suggestion is to take time off and be outside the city. And the reason why I'm saying we should make it a training week, because a lot of you, your skills, your preparation have been more than just lacking. They have sucked, downright sucked. Like, I've seen a lot of your setups. I've seen and heard a lot of you guys' complaints about wanting more training, wanting more experience, hands-on experience. And this is a perfect opportunity, because if something does happen, we're already out. We're outside the city. We don't have to worry about martial law or any of the rioting and violence inside the cities. We are out. And we're training, we're getting better, we're getting smarter, and we're doing it in a group setting. So we're coming together, building teamwork, making connections with each other that, I know all of you, but, very few of you know each other. And then you all are going to be having your own personal groups you're bringing with you. So, it's a good chance for everybody to network, get to know each other, um, share resources. One person may have extra of one thing that somebody else needs. Who knows? So with that week, I want to spend it training, like sun up till sundown. I want to do intense. I want to get your guys' hands on as many different skills as I possibly can get them on. We'll be going over pretty much everything you need to survive, and doing a lot of teamwork exercises, so you guys start building the rapport with each other, learning how to work in groups. Learn, and a lot of things will be solo, so you don't it's not all teamwork. Some things you'll have to do by yourself, because I want each and every single person to have a certain level of proficiency in it. And so with this week, if nothing happens, then at the end of the week you go home. But if something does happen, like mass rioting, martial laws, lockdowns, things like that, and you don't feel comfortable going home, you don't have to go home. You're already out there. You're already safe. You don't. The most dangerous part of, like, a lot of people are waiting for that shit hits the fan scenario to kick off, and then they're gonna leave. Well, that's stupid. That's like saying I'm not gonna leave an area where there's violence growing until somebody starts shooting at me. Get the hell out before it happens. Then you don't have to be in danger. It's that simple. A lot of people are scared. Well, I don't want to lose my job. Well, would you rather lose your life? Would you rather have your kid die right next to you? Would you rather all of you die? Like, be smart about it. That's all I'm saying is be smart about it. And this week is a week to get out prior to anything happening, and unfortunately, our elections are kind of turning into a shit show circus, and both sides want to attack each other over them. So might as well get out there, let them fight amongst themselves while we're out just sitting up on a hilltop watching them, like safely watching them. And so the area I'm planning on going is the Idaho, Wyoming area. And my suggestion to you guys is to have all the gear, all your go bags, your car bags, whatever you think you need ready with you. Load them up in the vehicle and get there. Get that you can get there a day early, 2 days early. A few people said they'll be able to take 2 weeks off from work, so if nothing happens, they can go straight back to work without losing anything. Still have their bills paid and everything. So that's fantastic if you can do that. Um, and so they want to spend extra time. They'll be out there early, set up, welcoming other people as they come. Um, there's a few of you who stated that you have group members that you want to bring. Perfectly fine with me. I like if you trust them, if I trust you to tell you where it's going to be at, and you trust them, they can come. If they're going to be part of your group, they need to learn too. I don't care what their skill levels are. They have to bring a desire to learn. Everybody has to bring a desire to learn because that's what it's mainly about. It's about learning, getting better. If at the end of that freaking week, if you don't feel like you're smarter and better, more skilled, then I failed. And this isn't going to cost you anything. This is a free week. You just got to get there. One of the farthest people that has to come, it's only going to take him $100 in gas one way and $100 back. That ain't shit because courses like these go for $1,000 for a whole week of training, and that's just the training. That's not the transportation to and from. A few of you have expressed the difficulty, hardship getting there. Let me know. I'll figure out a way. I could probably say, hey, this guy's got a few extra seats. You can hop with him. If you're local to where I'm at and you're a consistent student, like it's nothing for me to swing by, throw you in the back of the truck, and go. Like, unfortunately, you're there according to my schedule, not your own. But at the same time, you still get there. You still get better. You still get your hands-on learning. You still come away, at the very least, more skilled, more confident, better able to handle anything in life. And if shit hits the fan, if this is a reason why you don't want to go back to the society, you're already out. You're already in a safe space. You have your gear. You have everything there that you need, so you don't have to worry no more. You're already set. The most difficult part of the journey is getting out from the city to where your end destination is, where your goal is, and you've already done that prior to anything getting bad. So you're smarter by doing that, and you're going to have a lot less problems. So you're going to get there without having to fight to get there. You're not going to have to fight for resources. You're not going to have to fight to maintain your gear. You're not going to have to worry about anybody raping, stealing, and murdering you, because you're just driving before anything gets bad. So I behoove you. It really, 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 really is in your favor to do everything you can to get there. Even if you got to tell your boss, like, look, I know I don't got any time off left. I'm taking personal time. Some serious stuff came up. I'm taking personal time. If they don't like it, guess what? You can get a new job. If you're in a decent company, they'll have no problem with you doing anything. If you're working at like the Quickie Mart, you could always come back. Like, they're always hurting for people. You can always come back. So don't worry about it. Your job's too much. Worry about your safety. Worry about your family's safety. Worry about your tribe's safety. And that's the main reason why I'm doing this, because you all are part of my tribe, and I'm concerned about your safety. I'm making no money off this. I'm actually losing money to just hold this. So if one person shows up and nothing happens, then I lost that money just for one person. But if 50 people show up, then I lost that money for 50 people. Like I'm losing the money anyways, but I don't care. This is for you guys just as much as it is for me. It lets me see who's been practicing, who hasn't, where your skills are lacking, where they're not, and strengthen them, because one day I may rely on you to save my life. I may be 70 years old, freaking not being able to do much, but here your kid is 20, 30 years younger than me, saving my life. Who knows? We don't know. We can't predict the future. We can only make logical assumptions about what the future is going to bring. And with both sides saying that if the other side wins, there's going to be rioting, there's going to be fighting, there's going to be a quote unquote civil war. Well, there probably is, because both sides want it. They're looking for a reason for it. And if you know anything about violence, is when somebody's walking around with a chip on the shoulder looking for a fight, he will find it. 100% of the time, he will find it. It may not end up like he wants, but he will find it. He will do everything in his power to make it happen. So you have both sides wanting it to happen. You got the right side wanting a civil war, the left side wanting their socialism, and is willing to use violence to get it. Like there's the potential for a clash. Like, I'm willing to bet there's an 80% chance of something serious happening over these elections. 80%. And you have to be brain dead not to see that. And that's high. If it was 20% chance, then, I'd say maybe we can do like a weekend thing. But it's an 80% chance of something happening. And if one side does one thing, the other side's going to retaliate, and that side's going to retaliate. It's going to escalate. That's how things happen. That's how it happens. Starts small and then gets bigger. And so I want you guys out early. I want you guys getting your skills better. I want to be finding your weaknesses, so we can start sharpening them, getting them better, because again, one day you may save my life. We don't know. And if you don't end up saving my life, I'm still happier that you came. So get your people together, convince them that this is where you need to go, and be there. And I need a confirmation from you guys if you're going to be there. I need it sent through, my messenger, or a text, something saying, hey, I'm going to be there. That way I can send you the address, because I'm not going to post it up. Like, this video is going to be posted up on YouTube, and I'm going to send you all a link, but there's a good chance somebody else finds it. And I don't want people that I have no clue who they are there, and nobody in my immediate tribe has any clue who they are. It's another thing if I know Joe and Joe brings 5 guys that I don't know. That's fine, completely fine, because Joe knows them and I know Joe. So that's perfectly fine. But if somebody with absolutely no connection or nothing, I don't want that information out there. Personal reason, personal preference, and so I'm going to give the locations based on who requests it. So once I leave, once I go set that stuff up, I'm not taking any more applications type thing. If you're interested, let me know. If there's more than a 50% chance you're going to get there, let me know. Because if you really want to get there, you will do everything in your power to get there. Straight up. I've seen people do some pretty nice wheeling and dealing to get what they want. Meth addicts, they'll freaking rob, rape, steal, and freaking deal to get their next freaking hit. The least you can do is, if this is something you want, put forth the same effort. You don't have to go rob, rape, steal, and kill, but figure out a way to get there. The farthest person who said yes so far, $100 one way in, yes. If he's really that hard up, I'll send him the $100. It's not a problem for me. That don't matter. If I can spend $100 to keep one more person alive, I'm happy. Absolutely freaking happy with that. That's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. because I can always make that money back up later. And if shit does hit the fan, that money don't mean a damn thing anymore. And I tell people all the time that, if I go into shit hits the fan and I have $1,000 in the bank, I did not spend my money wisely. If I go into shit hits the fan and I'm $50,000 in debt, then I did things pretty damn well because I don't have to pay none of that off. I used other people's money to get what I need to help my people, and so I'm happy. So, I'm willing to spend that $100. That's not a problem for me. One person mentioned that it'd be easier to fly out. Sure, fine. Do whatever you need to do. Get as close as you can and let me know. And I'll figure out a way to get you the rest of the way or work with you to get you the rest of the way. It's not a problem with me. Now, I got people who are coming from all over, Pacific Northwest, all the way over to the East Coast, up in Maine area. So it's pretty far for some of these people. But they're still going to do everything they can to make it. And I'm hoping the rest of you will too. Now, what I'm expecting of you guys is you guys to show up with an attitude of learning, because we're going to dump as much skills on you guys as possible. I'm going to teach you a lesson. We're going to get your hands on that skill. You're going to work on it until I see the level that I want each and every you, the minimum level I want you all at. And once that happens, boom, we're shutting that down and moving on to the next thing. So, it's going to be moving pretty quickly. The first couple days are just going to be bare basic survivals. I just want to make sure everybody all across the board is on the same page. It don't matter if you got kids as young as 5, they can sit in on these lessons. They can practice with you. That's not a problem. The thing is, you got to get there. If you have a newborn baby, I don't care. Show up with your newborn baby. It's not a problem. Each thing that most people say is a problem in their mind is just that. It's in your mind. It's not a problem. It's a real life condition to the rest of us that we have to overcome. It's an obstacle. I got people in this group, with 10 kids. I got people with 8. I have people with 2. I have people with none. Different levels of experience, different levels of background. But the thing is, they all bring a little bit of knowledge. They can help with everything. So it's not that big of a problem. We're coming together as a community for a reason. It takes a village to raise a child. So if you got a newborn baby and you need to practice these skills, okay, can you hold my child for while I'm sitting here working on it? And so they're sitting there, taking care of your child while you're working on it. It's not a problem. The people that I choose to be in my tribe, they care about each other. They're not assholes. They'll bend over backwards to help you, but you have to bring that attitude to step up and want to learn. So you got to want to learn. And then on top of that, like when I tell you do things, I want you to hustle, because the quicker you hustle, the quicker you get things done, the more skills we can pack into that day, and which leads to more skills by the end of the week. And if it turns into the scenario where it's not safe to return to the cities, the more you learn in the shorter amount of time, the better equipped you are to do other things later. If we have to separate to minimize the total number in each group, 10 here, 5 there, whatever. If none of you know how to do one particular skill, then you're shit out of luck. So I need to get your guys' hands on as many different skills as possible in a week. And I got like day by day activities already written up. I showed the guys last night about it, and just a brief run through. I'm not going to really cover it in this, but it's going to be pretty intense. You're going to be working sun up till sundown every single day, and we're going to be cramming as many skills as possible. And the sooner you get the core skills that I want taught down, the sooner we can get into the other more advanced, important skills for long-term survival. Because surviving for a week or two is nothing. It's a joke, but yet all these so-called experts claim, oh, it's so difficult, you're fighting nature. You're not fighting nature. You just have to sit there and you can last a week doing absolutely nothing but sitting there. So it's not difficult to survive. Even up to a month, it's not difficult to survive. Where it starts getting hard is when you don't return to society in 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months later, you're still there. That's when it starts getting difficult because you have to be thinking ahead, planning ahead. You can't just go into winter, expecting to find everything you need. No, that's what the fall is for. The fall is the time to collect the things you need for the winter. The winter is to make the things you're going to need for the spring and summer. You're inside, you might as well be doing something. So you might as well be making your bows, making your tools, making your traps, making your baskets, tanning your hides, getting things prepared for spring. So when spring comes around, you can start going out and collecting things and doing things. And I know none of you really have had experience with it, but once you start getting into a routine and get set, it literally takes 2-3 hours a day to keep yourself going. So once you're in a routine, once you have the skills down in your long-term survival, you're only working 2-3 hours a day, and that's it. The rest of the day, you got free to do whatever. But you got to have the skills. And so that's what this week is going to be doing, is teaching you the basic skills. You're not going to master them. You're going to get good at them, but you're not going to master them until you've done them over and over and over again. So if I teach these skills and nothing happens, you go home, you can be practicing them at home and getting better. If something does happen after this training week, well, guess what? You're going to be forced to use them. You're going to be relying on them. So you're going to get real good real quick. And we're entering winter time. We're in the fall. We're entering winter time. So one of the things I wanted to make sure you guys are thinking about when you're planning on how to get out there is make sure you have your warm clothing. Make sure you're prepared for wet and cold, because that's what we're going to be expecting. We're going to have all the items still left in the vehicles as backup, but we're going to be using our go bags for primarily everything, because worst case scenario is you're down to your go bag and you got to leave your vehicle. And so we're going in with that mindset, and that's the mindset I want you guys to come with, is that when you start this journey from wherever you're at to where we're meeting at, is you go with the mindset that shit's starting to go wrong, because it's just, you go with the mindset that it's worse than it currently is. So you start getting your mind into it and you start being more aware. Why is that guy looking at me? Where can I park when I'm going in and getting something for the kids or whatever? How can I keep them safe if something does happen? If violence does erupt here while I'm inside, how can I get back to, my 13-year-old and my 11-year-old who's sitting in the car waiting for mom or dad to come back with a few drinks and some snacks? It's just one of those things to think about. So your go bags, have them ready, have them in your vehicle. Anything else you want to bring with you, put in your vehicle, because the vehicles are going to be there. They're going to be parked. They're going to be there. They're going to be within reach. So if we need something, we're going to have them. But we're going to primarily try to live off the go bags or whatever else we make while out there. And so, have your learning attitude, have your hustle attitude. You got where you're not freaking taking forever. You got to really be putting in the effort, because you're screwing people over from learning more skills if one person's lagging behind. We're only going to move as fast as our slowest person. And the main thing is the 13 and up the people are the ones I'm concerned about getting good at these skills. The younger ones, they'll be doing them right along with you, but I don't care if they don't get as good or up to my minimum level, because they'll have time. They'll have mom, dad, older brother, older sister, somebody to take care of them. Unless we all die, in which case they're probably going to die too, because that's just how it happens. The weak people start getting knocked off, then the weak people are going to fall too. So the younger ones, I'm not as concerned. They will be doing stuff too. I have different exercise, different training drills for them, specifically geared to the children's mentality and how they like to do things. So it's more enjoyable for them. I don't want them stressed out. I don't want them like always busy. I don't even want you guys always stressed out and busy. I want you guys to be hustling, but I want it to be a more enjoyable hustle. So your skills are going to be pushed. Your mental strength is going to be pushed because you'll be having all this information just dumped into you. But I still want it enjoyable. And with the kids, we need to make it enjoyable because we all know when kids are miserable, they can make everybody else miserable. And that distracts from the environment, the learning environment. So don't be afraid to bring them. I don't care if you think your kid is a little demon compared to other kids. There's things we can do to deal with that. We can keep them entertained. So the main thing is you got to make that commitment to get there. A lot of you guys are afraid of committing to a whole week. It's understandable, but look at it this way. We get there, right? Nothing happens. You're 10 times better coming out the end of the week. If something does happen, you're already in a safe spot. You made the difficult portion of the journey, which is from your home to your bug out location. You made it safely. So you're safer. So you don't need to worry about as much. So you really need to make that commitment. Like there's the only downside to this whole week long learning is when you don't do it, when you don't show up, because you're basically saying, screw my family, screw myself. I claim I believe all this stuff is going to happen, but I'm not going to lift a finger to make it happen. I'm not going to lift a finger, I should say, to give myself or my family the skills to survive it. So you're admitting defeat. And if you're the type of person who likes to admit defeat, who likes to look at your kid every single day and say, you know what, I'm not willing to lift a freaking finger to make sure you survive. If you're the type of person that can honestly wake up every day and say that, then you're a piece of shit. And I don't want you in my tribe. I don't want you to come. I need people who are going to be there, who are going to put in the energy and effort, because it's no longer about you. Once I have my tribe, whatever I do is no longer about me. It's about keeping everybody else alive. Because if I'm watching this guy's back and he's watching his back and he's watching his back and he's watching his back and he's watching mine, all our backs are covered. That's what it's about. If I see he has a weakness and it's my strength, I'm going to do that work for him. So he has high quality work, not low quality work. And in return, whatever his strength is, he can help me on. So we both got what we need, and it's both done at a high level instead of, my stuff is, most of my stuff's here, but I can only do this down here. Like, no, most of my stuff's going to be here, and the things I can do down here, this guy can do here. So, you're at 9s and 10s as far as quality and skill go all across the board. If you guys don't work together, you don't have that teamwork, you're screwing yourself. You're screwing the people next to you. And it doesn't matter if you're better at everything than they are. Teach them. They may have a knack for something that just clicks in their head and they end up better than you. I've seen it. I've seen it a million freaking times. I've worked my butt off on certain skills just to show somebody, and straight off the bat, they're already at my level. And it's like, what the hell? It took me a year to get there, and it took you 2 tries, and you're there. It's like people's brains are wired differently, and it's good. That shows that, you can't really doubt anybody's skill. You can't. So if this person's saying, oh, I'm not as good as all these other people, how do you know that? Like, you don't know. I don't even know. I'm going to start teaching you stuff, and something's just going to click, and you'll be better than half those guys in no time. You just don't know. So don't doubt yourself. That demon of doubt is going to bite you in the ass every single time. And it is a demon. It just sits right in there, and it tells you can't do this, you're not good enough, blah, 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 blah. You just need to shut them up. Lock them in a cage and freaking throw them in a river. It has no place in this training. If you're not good enough, you will get better by practice. If there is effort, there is progress. And where there is progress, be happy. Because you're not trying to be better than somebody else. You're trying to be better than you were yesterday. If you can do more tomorrow than what you could today, you're doing good. If you do that every single day, by the end of the year, you're going to look back and you're like, damn, I came a long freaking way. And that's what I want with this week. I don't care if you show up with no skills, no knowledge, no nothing. What I do care about is you show up to learn. What I do care about is you show up and put 100% into it. Anything you can't do, we will correct. We will get you stronger. We will get you more skilled. We'll increase your knowledge exponentially. Everything's going to compound on each other. You know, it's how it's designed. I'm taking you guys through the same basic week that I teach my basic survival, except we modified a few things in order to teach more important skills like teamwork and coming together and relying on each other, because those are going to be that's going to be your main skill to have, is to be able to work with other people. If you can't work with other people, you know, you're going to alienate them. They're going to push you away, and that safety net that they provide is no longer there for you. So you're screwing yourself and you're screwing your family. So you have to come and develop these skills, because I can tell you right now, there's very few of you who have the skills necessary to build strong teams. And all you students are going to be capable of that by the time you leave. I guarantee it. That is my promise to you. I have a few extra challenges I'm going to tell people about when they get there. They're fun challenges. Just I'll explain those later. I explained it kind of last night, but that don't need to be part of this video. You guys just need to make the commitment to come. I can't implore you enough. We all see it. We all see the world getting worse. Violences are increasing, you know, and it's not, you know, because somebody's invading us. It's because neighbors are turning against neighbors. Like, you have people who are like Black Lives Matter people calling for the death of white people. You had that 5-year-old kid that was shot in his mom's arm by a black dude just because the kid was white. That's what this world's coming to. You see it every single day. You know, every single day you start to see more and more mobs jump on weak people. They're not going to go after the strong people. They'll go after the weak people. And, you know, if you got 20 guys surrounding you, everybody's weak. It doesn't matter who you are weak. And these people have shown they're going to use violence. They don't care if you die. They don't care if you have a baby in your arm. They'll kill the baby too. Hell, they'll probably kill the baby first, just cause. That's who these people are. So the world is getting more and more violent. You're starting to see more and more food shortages. Just a week or so ago, I was in Walmart with a friend, and it was next to impossible to find shit. A Walmart. Most of their stuff was sold out. That shows you that the demand is there, but the supply cannot meet up. So more and more people are going to be fighting over less and less resources. Think of like how Black Friday was like 5 years ago, with people beating each other, stomping on each other, running people over cars, you know, people robbing people out in the parking lot. You know, they'll let people go inside the store, get all the stuff, come out, load up their car, and then they'll come knock them out and take their car with all the stuff in there. You know, think of that happening every single day. You go and you search local news online of some of the bigger cities, even some of the smaller cities, cities of 12 to 15,000 people, and you'll see it. Across the nation, violence is up over 34%. This pandemic isn't helping. This was prior to the pandemic. It's already up 34%. The pandemic's just freaking making it worse. A lot of the shit's not getting recorded because the people are dying in their own homes, and since nobody's really going out and checking on each other, there's bodies still left unfound in their own home. It's sad, because nobody's going to notice that, you know, Joe Blow and his wife and 2 kids are no longer showing up for school. A lot of schools are still closed down. They're not going to notice they don't show up for work. A lot of businesses are shut down. They're not going to notice they're not showing up to church because a lot of churches are not allowed to have meetings. In Idaho, you had that group of people from a church out singing, and a lot of them got arrested. That's the world we're in now. You got to face the reality. Things are getting worse. So what are you going to do? You're going to sit at home and close your eyes and stick your head in the sand and think happy thoughts and let it steamroll right over you and your family? Or are you going to take this time to go spend a week of improving your skills so you have better judgment and you have more knowledge to be able to get out if things get past a certain point? And that's one of the things we will be talking about is figuring out your point of when to leave. Different people have different points. If you're like some of these people and you got 8, 10, 12 kids, that's a lot to get ready. So you need to leave sooner. Somebody like Jason, like he only has to go by himself. So that's easy. You can move fast by yourself. You can't move fast with 12 kids, especially if, you got a couple of them under 5 or even under 10 because they're slow. They get tired. They whine. They get cranky. They throw temper tantrums if they're not getting enough to eat. Their blood sugar's out of whack. It's just things to think about. And so if nothing does happen, we're at least planting the knowledge of you figuring out when you need to leave based on where you're at and what your resources are and what and who you're bringing with you. 10 kids is a lot of kids to have, especially if a lot of them are under 10. You're going to move much slower and you're going to require a lot more. So y'all need to come. Like, that's the main gist of it. It says you all need to come. You need to bring the gear you think you're going to need, plus any extra. So your go bag and any extra gear you think you need. You're going to need to bring your attitude of, I'm here to learn. I'm going to do everything in my power to learn. I'm not going to slack off. Let's do this. Let's knock this out. And, understand that if shit does go into a civil war, you don't really need to go home. I would actually encourage you not to go home because that civil war is going to spread. It may start here, but it'll spread all across the nation. And these groups, especially Antifa, BLM, and a few of the militia groups are already saying, freaking, we'll start it in our city. And you have hundreds and hundreds of cities like that. And then you have these idiot yahoos who are just itching for a reason to shoot somebody. That's their whole goal is looking for a reason. So when that shit starts off, they'll be the first ones running out of their house and shooting people. It's happened historically in the past when the riots were happening in LA. There are people going down there just to shoot and burn things. They just wanted to be part of the mayhem. That's who they are. They want to be part of that. Same thing with the Hurricane Katrina and the Sandy that tore up the East Coast. Like, there's people who traveled there just to cause harm to other people. Could be your neighbor. Could be the guy down the street. Could be your kid's teacher. Could be the guy at the grocery store. Could be your doctor. Like, you don't know. The only thing you do know is that you are not like that. And you don't want nothing to do with that. So get out, get to this training, get your skills bumped up. It doesn't matter how good you are or how piss poor at anything you are. If you can show up, we can get you where you need to be. If you have no gear, I'm going to have extra gear that I can give out. You just got to get there. And so I'm imploring you, the week of November 1st through the 7th is a guaranteed time. Again, I have some people that are coming a few days early and they're going to stay way late. I have a few people who said they'll show up on the 2nd, most likely the 3rd, just because of, obligations. They're cutting their obligations short, which is smart. But they said they can stay 5 days after. So if nothing happens, they have all that time of training, all that time of pushing their skill level. So with you guys, I'm really encouraging you. If you're having a problem doing something, like bounce it off me, bounce it off the group. We can figure out something. You have a problem getting there, boom, we can figure out something. If we all got to get you, if we got to chip in and get you all a bus ticket to get there, we'll take you the rest of the way. We'll bring 2, 3, 4 cars down out of the mountains, load all you up, depending on how many you got. You could have 20, 30 people. We'll load you all up and take you back up into the woods where we're going, where we're going to be training it. We're going to make it as hands-on and as um, detailed as possible. We're not going to skimp on anything. I do not want to skimp on anything. I want you guys to feel 100% confident that if you had to survive on your own, you could. If you don't, then tell me. Like, we can, the last couple days, we're just going to free ball it. I have things I do want to cover, but most of the days are going to be open to what you guys are lacking. So, and I specifically designed it that way because I know some of the stuff you all are going to get, like it's nothing. We don't need to touch on that. It's the stuff you guys are struggling to meet the minimum with that we can really sharpen up, especially if we spend half a day on it, or at least a couple hours. So show up, bring your gear, bring anything extra you want to bring, and we'll take it from there. Bring your notebooks. You're going to be taking notes. You're going to see it, you're going to hear it, you're going to write it, and then you're going to do it. So you really get multiple times. Each lesson you're going to go through it multiple times, basically. And it's designed that way to really make it sink into your head. Because I don't care what you got down in your notebook. What I care is what's in here, what your hands instinctively know how to do. I've made so much cordage that when I sit and start making cordage with my hands, I can have a conversation and not even look at what I'm doing. I've done it so many times that I can sit there and do it. I can do it in the dark. Like if I'm pulling a 4-hour night watch, I can just be sitting there making cordage during those 4 hours. Have hundreds and hundreds of feet of cordage. I'm multitasking. But you have to do it enough time to where you don't even have to think about it, that your body just does it. And so that's what I'm hoping to get with a lot of these skills, is that you guys are instinctively doing it. If not, I got you right to that point to where you're almost there and you guys can bring yourself the rest of the way, just practicing it a couple more times and bam. So do show up, bring your attitude, bring that freaking motivation, bring that discipline, and I'll take you the rest of the way. It's not going to cost you guys anything other than how much it takes to get there. If you need gear, bring as much gear as you can. Whatever you don't have, let me know. I can pick it up, or I probably got extra. I mean, like, look around this room. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 longbows. I can only shoot one at a time. Like, if you guys, and that's one of the things I do want to get you guys doing. I'm not going to teach you how to make a bow during this week, but I will get you hands-on using one, because once I teach all the other skills as far as woodworking and stuff like that, all I need to do is give you the dimensions of a bow and you'll know how to make it, because the individual skills are there. So it's just like once you learn how to run, you can figure out how to run a marathon. Somebody doesn't need to take you through all the steps of running a marathon. Once you know how to run, even if it's just 10 yards, you can eventually figure out how to run a marathon on your own. And that's what I want to get with all these skills. Yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say in this, is to really encourage you to get you guys there, to get you there with your gear, with your friends, your family that want to come. Say your goodbyes to the ones that are staying, because you don't know. We don't know. We don't know if a civil war is going to happen. We can't predict that. A lot of people claim they can. You can't. not until right before. Once it's right before, then you could say, oh yeah, most likely we're going into a civil war. But it's very difficult to predict things like that. And I'm not even going to try. It's not worth my time. Um, I do see the trend of things escalating, getting worse in all areas. Water is getting harder and harder to purify. Look at all the water purification plants, how many upgrades they got to do just to get all the medication that people are dumping down the toilet out. All the pollutions that places like China is dumping in. Like China's like they dump an ungodly amount of pollution into the water, and they don't have an EPA to regulate that. They don't have decent-minded people saying, "Hey, it's fucked off. We're not going to do it. We're not going to dump all this into that." And that goes down into the ocean, and that spreads. Things are getting more and more and more difficult with just water. The bacteria are resisting a lot of things now that 20 years ago it just wiped them out. Food, more and more scarce. We have more crops being grown to provide ethanol for fuel than it is for food. Literally a third of the crops in the U.S. that are grown every year are for fuel. And yet more and more people are going hungrier and hungrier every single day. That's fucked up. Eventually, we're going to run out of food because people are not rotating their crops like they're supposed to. They're not letting the soil rest. They're not doing nothing to replenish. They're just drawing. Eventually, there's going to be nothing there. And then you're going to end up with a place like Bakersfield where grass can't even grow, where they used to have crops, where it used to be world renowned for its ability to grow crops, and it can't. The Sacramento Valley literally used to be the world's leading producer of rice. Now you can't grow shit there. There's small pockets of it now. You can look that up. Back 60s, 70s, 80s, like it used to be the world's leading producer of rice. Now it can't. It can't even compete with half the other states in the U.S. And that's because they depleted the soil. It was such a perfect environment that instead of growing one crop a year, they're doing 5, 6, 7. So, that's just the nature of the beast. Crops are growing at much smaller and a much slower rate than they used to, and our population is growing up still, which just means people are going to be fighting over food. And then look at the violence over religions. That's increasing. Look at the violence over healthcare. That's increasing. Portland's on fire because we want free healthcare. We want free education. We want this. We want that. And now they're threatening violence over political systems, which, has been common throughout the world, not so much of a thing in the US. There have been minor brawls and stuff like that, but not full out civil war over one side getting elected and the other side not. But they're threatening it. And the fact that they're at the point where they feel they need to threaten it, it's a small step, boom, before they actually physically do it. And I don't know if they're going to make that step this time or if it's going to be next time. But they're close. So things are really, 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 really getting worse. And I want my tribe, I want you guys out of it. It's much easier if I get you guys out sooner. Because it's just stupid to wait and see if something happens, then try to get out. Then you're fighting your way out. And if you have to fight, you're most likely going to get injured or killed, or one of your family members is going to get injured and killed. And that's something to think about, because what is your access to healthcare then? Non-existent. Not when there's martial law, not when there's a lockdown, not when there's rioting and civil unrest. Those things are going to increase exponentially. Just look at like the Pacific right now. You have world record breaking fires right now. California is one of their fires hit over 1 million acres. First time in history, over 1 million freaking acres burned. And that fire is only 50% contained. It's still going. In Oregon, just with 3 fires, you got over 500,000. They're not contained. That's not including all the other ones that are still going and getting bigger and getting worse. So our resources are being burnt up and depleted. A lot of people, especially in Oregon, relied on those woods to hunt, to fish. Their livelihoods are gone. Part of it is gone. They're going to have to make it up somehow. And when somebody takes away part of your livelihood, you get angrier, you get stressed out. You feel like, "Oh, I need this. Somebody owes me." That's normal. It's normal to get angry when somebody wrongs you. What is not normal is to retaliate and try to hurt or kill them. But you're seeing an increase in that. So, you got a lot more, you're going to have a lot more people out there angry, wanting to hit somebody, wanting to burn something, wanting to break something, just because like their lives are getting destroyed and they're not happy about it. I've had my life destroyed and like trust me, I was not happy, but you know what? The one thing I can always count on were my skills. Because I know if things got too bad, I can say, fuck it, I'm walking off in the woods not to return. And I know I'm not just going to survive, I'm going to thrive. A lot of people can't say that. They don't have that safety net. And with this week, I want you to have that safety net. I want your family to have that safety net. So if you do go back to society because nothing happens, it all blows over and just people blowing smoke, you're going to go with the understanding that next time it might not just be smoke, but also if society gets too bad, you can say, screw it, I'm going to the woods and my family will be just fine. That's what I want. So I hope you all attend. I don't care what's going on in your lives or anything like that. Get your asses out there. It's not just for you, it's for your family. Other than that, stay safe and try to enjoy society as much as you can until the shit does hit the fan. And if we're out on that training week and it does, then perfect. Like you said your goodbyes and you're freaking at peace and nothing else matters. But if it doesn't, you're going to come back with a different viewpoint on everything, a different appreciation on everything than you've ever had before. I promise you that. You're never going to, when you come back, once learning these skills, you're never going to look at anything the same. I've yet to have a single person say that everything was the same. They've always, months later, tell me, freaking a lot of the shit that I see that I used to argue over was bullshit. Why? Or they appreciate what they do have more because they're starting to realize how much of a luxury their life has been. It wasn't as hard as they made it out to be in their mind. It was actually a luxury. But before they're stressed out and pissed off and angry and like oh my god, everybody's stressing me out. No, nobody's stressing out. You're choosing to let yourself be stressed out over something that's not even the way you think it is, the way you perceive it. And when you go and you have that break from it and you have that resetting of your mindset and you're looking at things different, when you come back, you're like, was I really that upset over this? This was nothing. This means nothing. Like, who gives two shits about this? It's one of the reasons why some of you guys say I have a lackadaisical attitude about a lot of things in society, and it's because I realize how much of it is bullshit, and I call it like I see it. It's not important, and I've yet to meet a single person who spent any amount of time with me training not say the same thing because they make that mental shift. They realize how little of actual society is important. It's not. It's just an ideal, just like a $100 bill. People will fight over $100 bill, which is stupid. It's just an ideal. It's a piece of paper. It's an ideal. It's an ideal of a certain amount of value. It's printed on the exact same size paper as a $1 bill. But people's perceptions see it differently. It has more value to them. To me, it's just a piece of paper. Really don't give two shits about it. So, with that, I'm going to tell you guys to enjoy things, stay safe. Let me know if you're going to make it. And if you're not one of my students or one of my tribes and you see this video and you want to make it, touch bases with me, because I'm going to be the one telling you where to go. If I like you, if I think you're going to be a good fit, then fine. But if you're just there to cause problems, then I'm going to tell you to kick rocks. Like, it's that simple. I'm not going to tell you where we're going. May tell you the wrong spot, and you're sitting there like, where the hell is everybody at? And we're off somewhere else. So stay safe, and hopefully I'll see you all there.